Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to my SimCity video tutorials. In this video I'll be continuing on with my gambling tourism tutorial in my third city in this region. When we left off last time I had just only hit 50,000 tourists per day and my first slick casino was already filled with tourists. So at the moment I am going to be spending some money in upgrading its capacity and seeing just how much money can it make before I need another one. In order to increase its capacity for medium wealth gamblers, because they spend more money than low wealth gamblers, I need to upgrade the gaming division at the casino HQ. I'm going to upgrade it to maximum capacity, and later on, if it isn't filling it up, then I can simply just turn off some of the modules and wait for the capacity to be needed. So now this casino can take in 150 low wealth tourists, 920 medium wealth tourists and 100 high wealth tourists. This means that if it's now having around 13,000 profits per day, because it's still new and hasn't balanced out, it should start making quite a lot of more profit once it gets filled to full capacity. And in pretty much no time whatsoever, the Slick Casino has reached the absolute full capacity. This means that I can without a doubt build another Slick Casino and probably upgrade it right off the bat. The other Slick Casino is gonna go right here. I just need to see from which side am I going to draw the road like I drew here for its upgrades. I could probably put that road between these two hotels, but I should leave enough room on its left side for if I want to ever upgrade the sci-fi casino with anything. So let's say we go about here. And now when I place the Slick Casino over here, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have enough room on its left side to upgrade with mods for capacity. Now because I have upgraded the previous one with full medium wealth capacity, I am going to add 2 of these low wealth capacities just so that I do not go over the limit with mediums and end up having a casino empty for a while, because maybe all the medium capacity will not be filled at the same time. I'm going to add this sign. Make sure to have some more room for the upgrades behind the casino. And now this second casino is also upgraded to its maximum capacity. Since now I have a lot of tourists, I can schedule even more expensive events, and I am sure that I'm going to fill the Expo Center to capacity as I have each day, and now I can schedule these rock concerts, which are going to bring in a whole load of simlands after each event. At the Pro Stadium I'm no longer going to hold the monster truck rallies, but I'm going to hold the World Championship in soccer. This is because the World Championship in soccer attracts medium and high wealth residents and tourists, and those are the ones that I want in my city the most because they leave much more money than low wealth tourists in the casinos. My need for the workforce has increased, and now I need around 300 of high wealth workers, 700 of medium and over 800 low. So I'm going to have to upgrade some high wealth residents into high density as well as medium ones. To upgrade, I'm going to choose the street that is the closest to the casinos, so that my workers are going to get to the casinos pretty fast without having to go through many of my avenues or streets and clog those up with car traffic. As I almost always keep the residential on zone after it has reached medium density so that I can control it more easily where and which buildings are gonna go to high density. Once I upgrade the street to high density, I'm going to go to my happiness overview and see exactly which of these buildings can go to higher density. As you can see, these 3 high wealth buildings can go up, as can this medium wealth residence. So I'm going to zone this one and 2 of these for them to go to high density. If I take a second look at my city's happiness, I can see that a lot of my medium wealth residents are very low on happiness. This is mostly because they do not seem to be seeing any shopping around town. Now, the good question is, why don't they see the shopping around town while the low density buildings do see the shopping around town? This is because the medium density residents have a much higher demand for goods. As my commercial is spread around town and next to these intersections, they seem to be having a problem getting to them, which means I would need to add a few more of these commercial between my residential. This is also confirmed in the population overview, where you can see that a lot of my shoppers are unsatisfied. So if I want more buildings to go to high density, I'm going to have to satisfy their needs. Now, after a few more days of playing, these two slick casinos, even after 1 AM in the morning, can reach full capacity. Now, they are not filled to full capacity during the entire day, which is kinda lowering my profits. Even with 70,000 tourists per day, they aren't full 24/7. That means that I would like to push this number and see if I can have even more tourists per day. The only things left for me to do in order to increase this number is to add mods to the sci-fi casino, which would increase the number of tourists per day. Now, as far as I have noticed up until now, I'm not entirely sure that those mods even work. But this is a very good moment to test that out. I'm going to upgrade my HQ with an entertainment division, and I'm going to upgrade both of these casinos with only celebrity stages to see just how many more medium wealth tourists per day are actually gonna be coming into my city, and seeing if the 1000 per hour cost of these celebrity stages, can they even be profitable with their cost being 1125 per hour. So I'm going to place 2 of these for each of the sci-fi casinos. And I'm going to track my number of medium wealth tourists for the next few days. At the moment they are around 21,000 compared to the 50,000 of low wealth tourists. Now, if these 2 celebrity stages per each casino do actually work, they are supposed to now get my medium wealth tourists up to around 30,000 per day. If that happens, they do actually work. Then, if that happens, we need to see, are my profits going to go up? Because if those celebrity stages cost me so much, but they do not increase my profits for my casinos, that means that they are useless. So let's turn on the cheetah speed and wait a few days to see just how much of an impact are they going to have. So days after placing those celebrity stages at the sci-fi hotels, I have even managed to drop down in the number of tourists rather than go up, which kinda proves that those mods on the sci-fi casino for increasing the number of tourists per day do not work. Therefore, I'm gonna be bulldozing them. Now, after bulldozing those celebrity stages, I'm going to use this space behind the 2 sci-fi casinos to place some more gambling houses. Now, why gambling houses? Well, this is because the gambling houses have the best ratio between expenses and earnings. The second are the sci-fi casinos, and the third are the slick casinos. But the slick casinos have the distinct advantage of being able to increase their capacity to a very high level. So, here comes my new gambling home. Now, what I'm going to try to do is to see if these comedy clubs and lounges actually bring in more tourists per day. Since the sci-fi casinos mods do not work, let's see, do these work? So, I have modded these 2 new gambling houses with 4 mods for increasing the number of tourists per day. If that does not really increase the total number of tourists per day, means that those upgrades do not work either. It has now been several days since I have built those 2 gambling houses with upgrades for increasing tourists per day, but as you can see, my number has stayed constant. I have not received any more tourists per day from those mods, and therefore I conclude that the mods to increase the number of tourists per day on the gambling houses do not work just like those on the sci-fi casino. The only thing I can do is tear them down and replace them with capacity upgrades. There is also one more issue plaguing the city. As you can see, my education is only at 1 green hat out of 5. This is because even though I am sending 8 high school buses to come into the city and pick the children up and take them to the education specialized city for them to be educated, only a small number of my kids actually go to school. Is that a problem that comes from only 8 buses being there, or is it because those buses have a hard time coming and going several times a day from this city to the education city? I'm not absolutely sure. So in order to reduce the number of criminals in the city and the number of injured residents, I am going to have to plop either a high school or a grade school in the city, because I do not wish kids to be driving to the high school as they tend to do. I'm just going to plop a grade school. Now the grade school does only have 950 capacity, but even though that is not enough for the 2,500 students I already have, it should be just enough to lower the amount of injuries and criminals in the city without increasing the traffic that a high school would. I do have some space remaining here, so I'm going to use it and fully upgrade this grade school. Now this is going to be a high expense, 1,600 per hour between 3 AM and 3 PM, because I keep it turned off after 3 PM and up until 3 AM. But it is going to reduce the number of injured and the number of criminals, which will then allow me to reduce the number of cop cars, number of jail cells, number of ambulances, and the number of patient rooms. So it is going to balance out. Another thing that you should be aware of in a tourism gambling city is that the Pro Stadium and the Expo Center have the ability to satisfy shoppers. Now that isn't entirely bad if you have a lack of goods, but it is a problem because those shoppers will not be going to shops, and your shops may start telling you how they do not have enough shoppers. And then they are going to reduce your approval rating because they are constantly going to say we do not have enough shoppers. Now that might seem very odd because I already have a lot of unsatisfied shoppers, and it is kind of strange for shops to be saying that they cannot have enough shoppers since I do not have enough goods, not even for the third of my population of shoppers. It is another strange quirk of the game. As you can see, even without having those extra mods on the sci-fi or the gambling houses to get more tourists, this number can go up to even 76,000. It will be between 55, 56 up to even 80,000 tourists per day. With that many tourists, you do not have any trouble having a lot of profit, and as you can see, I have reached now 56,000 per hour with being positive with both of my Expo Center and the Pro Stadium, and that is in total around 1.5 million monthly. So this is quite a successful city. There is really no need for you to have even more people in this city, because even with 60,000 residents, all of these casinos are working without a problem, and they have a lot of gamblers in them. The numbers may oscillate during the day because the number of tourists peaks at certain hours and drops at others, but in general your casino city should be more than profitable, even as profitable as some other resource concentrated cities. So this is where I would conclude my tourism gambling tutorial, and for the next video I'm probably going to go back to the multi-city tutorial, but in a different way. You will understand what I mean when I say a different way once I post that new video. So thank you for watching, and please stay tuned on my channel for more.